Right now, the device you're using to watch this video is processing billions of operations per second. But have you ever wondered what the main brain of our entire civilization is actually made of? The answer sounds insane. It's ordinary sand. Beach quartz sand that was purified, melted, and sliced using light into billions of microscopic switches. How on earth did humanity manage to force a piece of purified dirt to calculate, think, and run our world? This is the story of how a processor is made. In the mid-20th century, computers weren't just large, they were monsters. The 1946 ENIAC computer weighed 30 tons, occupied an entire apartment, and consumed so much energy that the lights in the neighboring town would dim whenever it was switched on. The brains of these giants were vacuum tubes, similar to ordinary incandescent light bulbs. They constantly overheated and burned out, and moths would fly inside, causing short circuits. That, by the way, is where the term bug comes from. The world needed something fundamentally new. And in 1947, Bell Labs made a revolutionary breakthrough by inventing the transistor. At its core, a transistor is a microscopic switch. If it lets current pass, that's a 1. If it doesn't, that's a 0. The entire digital age rests on this simplicity. But there was a problem. Manually connecting thousands of individual transistors with wires was an absolute nightmare. That is, until engineers came up with a crazy idea. What if, instead of soldering transistors, we bake them all together on a single monolithic piece of silicon? That was the birth of the integrated circuit. In 1971, a young company named Intel created the Intel 4004 chip, commissioned by a Japanese calculator manufacturer. It was the world's first commercial microprocessor. Containing a mere 2,300 transistors, its performance was weaker than a modern car key fob. Yet, it was a major breakthrough. An entire processor had been fit onto a fingernail. At this moment, Intel co-founder Gordon Moore formulated a rule that would become the primary engine of progress for the next half-century: Moore's Law. He predicted that the number of transistors on a microchip would double every 2 years, while the cost would drop. A frantic race had begun. The 80s and 90s became the golden era of processors. In 1989, the Intel 486 was released, followed by the iconic Pentium in 1993. Clock speeds in megahertz were surging at a breakneck pace. If yesterday your computer could barely open a text document, today it was already running 3D graphics in Doom and Quake. The processor became the most important product on the planet. The Intel Inside sticker on a PC case mattered more than the brand of the computer itself. But this gigahertz race was bound to hit a wall. By the mid-2000s, engineers hit a physical wall. To make a processor faster, they pushed more current into it and cranked up the clock speed. The result? Processors started running as hot as space heaters. The Pentium 4 generated so much heat that you could literally fry an egg on it, while the cooling fans roared like a Boeing taking off. Clock speeds plateaued right around 4 gigahertz. But the real disaster was waiting at the microscopic level. When transistor sizes shrank down to just a few nanometers, the laws of quantum physics kicked in. Transistors became so thin, hundreds of times thinner than a human hair, that electrons began simply leaking through them, even when the transistor was turned off. This is known as quantum tunneling. In simple terms, the light switch could no longer turn off the power. The industry found itself in a crisis. Moore's law was dying. To save the processor, architects had to completely rethink chip logic. They stopped pushing the clock speeds of a single core and started combining multiple cores on a single die. Today, the processor has long moved beyond the computer tower. Modern chips are complex systems on a chip, SoC. In a single small chip inside your smartphone or laptop, you'll find not just CPU cores, but also a graphics processing unit, communication modules, and dedicated neural processing units, NPUs, built specifically for artificial intelligence tasks. Today, process nodes have reached 3 and even 2 nanometers. To put that into perspective, the size of a single silicon atom is about 0.2 nanometers. We are literally printing structures only a dozen atoms wide. To achieve this, the industry uses the most complex and expensive machines in human history, ASML's EUV lithography systems, each costing around $200 million. We are approaching the absolute physical limits of silicon. On the horizon lies the transition to new materials like graphene, photonic, optical processors powered by light, and quantum computers. Yet no matter how futuristic these technologies become, it all started with a simple idea. Take ordinary sand, purify it, and teach it to count from 0 to 1. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what processor was inside your very first computer. See you in the next video.